First, I would like to thank the RA community at Berkeley from the bottom of my heart for being so incredibly helpful and for helping to keep us the research going.
I really would like to thank our colleagues at the Research Administration. They've been a wonderful community, very supportive, and we're so grateful for their fantastic work.
I'm really grateful to the RA community for all of their help with all of the work we do here.
My name is Jeroen de Wolf. I have been for several years the director of the Institute of European Studies and recently also became the interim director of the Institute of International Studies. And of course, since our work is primarily in the field of international studies, we are frequently confronted with challenges that require special attention by our colleagues from the Research Administration. Challenges that sometimes are very basic challenges, such as the difference in, for instance, currencies, or differences in terms of dates. You know, today is 11/07/19. In Europe, it's 7/11/19, right? I also think of differences in terms of time zones. We recently had a grant that we worked out with the government of Austria. We had one colleague who was traveling, and the result was that, you know, one of us was in Europe, the other one was here in Berkeley, and then we had a colleague in Asia. So we were working in 3 time zones to get this grant ready, and the support we got from our colleagues from the Research Administration was just fantastic, of how flexible they were and how cooperative to make this work and to make this successful.
My name is Jesse Rothstein. I'm a professor of public policy and economics. I work on topics relating to inequality, to education, and to labor market outcomes. I direct the Institute for Research on Labor and Employment, which supports a number of faculty affiliates around campus in their applications for external grant funding. We had a affiliate recently who's an internationally recognized scholar who was had an opportunity to get a contract from the European community. We found out about it and had about 48 hours to get all of the materials into SPO. And not only that, we needed an incredibly detailed budget, and we needed 2 of them, one in euros and one in dollars, and they had to line up exactly. Our Share Research Administration team really went way above and beyond and helped us figure out how to get all this done. They pulled it all together, and we recently found out that he's going to be getting the funding, and we'll be relying on them to help us manage that funding once it comes in.
So my name is Roberto Zoncu. I'm an assistant professor of biochemistry, biophysics, and structural biology in the molecular and cellular biology department at UC Berkeley. And my lab works on understanding mechanisms of cellular growth in cancer. So first I want to say that without the help of the RA community and the services they provide, we will not be able to do any of our research. We as scientists are really busy thinking about science and ideas and doing experiments, and we don't have any time or any little experience, at least in my case, for doing things like preparing grants for submission, doing the accounting, doing the lab finances. And so the help that the community, the RA community provides is absolutely essential for us to be able to do this. And so, for example, I'm especially grateful to my post-award administrator, who literally saves me multiple times a week from overspending grants, directs me to do the right kind of spending, and this person is simply there anytime I have any questions about logistics and finances and things like that. And so I'm incredibly grateful for the help that they all provide.
So Travis Bristol, I'm an assistant professor here in the Graduate School of Education here at UC Berkeley. And my research is sort of situated at the intersection of policy and practice. And in particular, I study how we recruit, support, and retain teachers of color. So a great deal of my work is sort of working with school districts and foundations who are interested in supporting efforts aimed at recruiting, supporting, and retaining teachers of color. A huge thank you to the RA community for helping maintain my sanity and increasing my productivity as an assistant professor here at UC Berkeley. Thank you.
I'm Dylan Davis. I'm the Associate Director here at the Institute of East Asian Studies. My research interest, the area of interest, is Korea politics, international relations, but really my day job is to support the day-to-day operations at the Institute. We have 7 centers that are embedded under our umbrella, from Korean studies, Chinese studies, Japanese studies, Buddhist studies, the list goes on. All these centers have staff that support 100 plus faculty, primarily in humanities and social sciences, but we're open for business for any faculty who works on East and Southeast Asia. We're a focal point here in the UC Berkeley campus for East and Southeast Asian studies. We're filling a critical gap in student and faculty research, bringing in grants from various foundations here in the United States, from the Department of Education through Title VI funding, to the Japan Foundation, Korea Foundation, the list goes on, and the RA community is helping to support us make this all possible. On behalf of the Institute of East Asian Studies, we'd like to give a huge thanks to our RA community for all their support over the past year and years. From the gatekeeper, that's the RA who's assigned to us, to the Sponsored Projects Office, to Contracts and Grants Accounting, and even the community beyond the research administration community that supports us. These are the people who do the travel and entertainment reimbursements, the human resources apparatus. I mean, it's one large system that has to work together, and we're really appreciative of everything that the research community does to make our operation work. I should also say, ultimately, our RA helps us succeed in meeting our fundraising goals. We are able to support students of about $500,000 a year, and a large part of that comes through contracts and grants that are managed professionally by our RA staff. Research administrators play a critical role in keeping the Institute of East Asian Studies in business. They're helping 100 plus faculty across the East and Southeast Asian Studies on our campus to prepare proposals to make them competitive and ultimately get successful funding. So thank you, RA community.
My name's Jennifer Ahern. I'm a professor in epidemiology here in the School of Public Health, and I'm also the Associate Dean for Research for the School of Public Health, and it's through that role that I've gotten to know a really broad range of folks on campus who work different parts of research administration. And I just want to say that I value the staff enormously who work in this space on campus. These are folks who work tirelessly without enough recognition, and they really are the backbone of making our big, complex, complicated, wonderful, and challenging campus work. And so thank you so much for all the work that you do.
My name is Catherine Wolfram. I'm a professor at the Haas School of Business, and I do research on energy economics. Specifically, most of my research now takes place in sub-Saharan Africa and some of it in India. I'm super grateful to the whole RA community. I would not be able to do any research without you. Yeah, I guess I looked in AP Bears recently, and I think I have 60 grants. So I've been leaning heavily on the whole research administration community. So thank you to everyone.
So my name is Sandra Susan Smith. I am professor and chair of the Department of Sociology. I study, I guess, a few things. Topic areas, generally speaking, racial inequality, social capital, and social networks, especially as it relates to finding work. I also study more recently the front end of the criminal case processing. So essentially what happens once people get arrested, the process by which they go through the system, and what that means for kind of short and long-term criminal justice involvement. There's just no way that I would be able to do, I think, almost any of the research that I do if were not for the staff on campus who've been helpful in so many ways and over quite a bit of time at this point.
My name is Peter Hoseman. I'm a material scientist in the Department of Nuclear Engineering, working on nuclear materials, and that's also my research area. I want to thank all RAs who are involved in, of course, making research like this possible. Without you, we would not be able to fulfill our duty as a scientist and teacher.
I'm David Schaefer, a professor in chemical and biomolecular engineering, bioengineering, molecular cell biology, and Helen Wills. And our work focuses on the development of next generation gene and cell therapies to treat human disease. I've been here now at Berkeley for 20 years, and it's been terrific throughout that entire time to be able to work with the RA community. They have saved me so many times when I've done something last minute and put them in a bind up against some federal grant deadline or some hiring deadline, and it's just been terrific to have people who are so dedicated and good at their jobs bail us out whenever we get them in trouble.
By my experience, the RA community turns typically into a calm Zen behavior of the faculty. And that's the truth that's the case for proposal writing as well as the post-grant managing, because it helps us really keeping us focused on the important things and keeping us out of trouble. So, of course, large grants are a lot more complicated than small grants, and some of my grants are very, very large and involve a lot of people and entities, and that makes it extremely complicated, and I most certainly would not be able to do that myself. And thanks to you, we are able to do this and keep all this machinery operational.
My name is Kao Saizo. I belong to MCB and Helen Wills Neuroscience Institute, and my lab is interested in understanding a molecular mechanism underlies male-female difference in the neuropsychiatric disorders. So we are using various techniques like spanning for molecular biology, neuroscience, and immunology. Thank you so much the people who are working for Best Regional Service and SPOR. I just did it 2 days ago, and the Industrial Alliance and contract and grant accounting and Berkeley Research Development people. So I really appreciate you all help.
Hi, my name is Will Dow. I'm a health economist. My main appointment is in the School of Public Health, but I also have a joint appointment in demography. So I work with teams across the campus, and I've worked with folks in many of the different teams within the different iterations of regional services over the years. I want to give a huge thank you to the entire RA community, not just my RA, but all the people who support my RA, all of the associated offices, and I won't be able to list them all, everyone in regional services and SPO and the Apira, the IRB. Who else am I missing here? I know I'm missing key people. It's dangerous to list people, but thank you to everybody.
The entire office here was just outstanding and was able to really push very hard to be able to get everything off the campus signed within about a 24-hour period, and we ended up getting that grant, and it had a big impact on our group. So obviously none of that would have happened without the RA community here.
I just want to express a quick thank you to the entire RA community for all your hard work. We really appreciate everything that you do. Thank you so much. My name is Grace Gu, and I'm an assistant professor of mechanical engineering. Thank you.
My name is Bruce Fuller. I was trained at Stanford University in sociology, and I do a lot of work on Latino families and the early growth of young children. I also do a lot of policy work, which has implications for shared services, because we get all sorts of crazy grants from foundations, governments that are difficult to negotiate with. So doing work in the policy world kind of complicates all the work that SPO does and shared services for my shop. I just really want to express my appreciation to everybody in the research administration.
My name is Randy Howard Katz, and I'm the Vice Chancellor for Research, and I've been a member of the faculty here in electrical engineering and computer science since 1983. I also was a graduate student here between 1976 and 1980, and I can say pretty much clearly that my career would not have been as successful as it has been without the support of research administration over, some odd 40 years. So I'd like to extend my sincerest thank you to the research administration community for all of the tireless work you do to support the UC Berkeley research enterprise. You help us submit proposals and to prepare them. You keep us on track with how we're spending out our funds and all the obligations that we have. You help us negotiate terms with our sponsors and our patrons. And you really let us do our best in terms of being able to execute on our research without having to worry about a lot of the administrative details of completing the research that we do. So you have helped us in the past year bring in almost $800 million in research funding, which is one of our really banner years. So your incredible work has allowed Berkeley researchers to change the world, to discover cures for cancer, for helping us help California in the public policy domain, created new breakthroughs in sort of cancer therapeutics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, predicting and reporting of earthquakes. It's amazing, the research enterprise of the University of California at Berkeley, and we could not have done it without the support that we have from our research administrators. So thank you for all of your hard work and tireless efforts in making Berkeley one of the best research universities in the universe.